Welcome to another episode of Don't Panic Geocacher. I'm here to talk again today about puzzle caches, mystery caches. My name is Arjen. I go by Watervan5 on the geocaching.com website. And here, a short video today talking about a website called geocachinginfo.nl. It's a Dutch website, but it's very useful to specifically look at specific code tables. And I will show you around and show you what they have. So here's the website. It is in Dutch. At least I have not found a way to easily switch to English. You can, of course, use the browser translation feature, but I noticed it doesn't work on every page. Now, the website has some geocaching information. Like I said, most of it is in Dutch. But what is mostly interesting for puzzle caches is that they have under code tables, the thing right here, they have a very extensive list of code tables. And of course, where are code tables used? Well, these are your typical substitution ciphers where a certain symbol is utilized to represent a certain letter or a number. Now, they have a list of over 300 and still new ones are being added. And if you scroll through the list, you might notice that some of them look familiar, as you may have seen them on other websites like Cacheloot or Geocaching Toolkit or Decode, things like that. So several of these you can find on other sites as well. So for example, Birds on the Wire is a very popular one. And if we open that one, you will notice that you have all the standard birds, and then they all correspond to specific letters. If you hover over them, you will see the letter appear. You can also click on them, and then you basically see the word being spelled out right here. So that is by far, I think, the most useful feature of this website for puzzle caches. I can't speak for the other users of just information. I primarily focus on the puzzle/mystery cache aspect. So again, let's take a look. There's over 300 of them. Most of them work like I just showed you, like you have the letters and you have the symbols and the letters correspond to the symbols. There's a few exceptions. I will show you some of those as well. But yeah, there's a lot. This is by far the richest collection I have found on a single website. I know I have some other things as well that I use, like PDF documents that I've shown in other videos, but this is certainly an interactive interface of over 300 or more different of these code tables. So if you see a puzzle and you see a certain code table being used, then you can use this list and kind of like see, do I recognize what I see here, right? Do I recognize the specific symbols? Of course, you only see a subset here, but typically, stylistically, that might be enough for you to identify the specific cipher. So yeah, I showed you Birds on the Wire. Here's another bird variant one that use basically like the bird span. The wingspan of the birds as the different alphabet. This one actually distinguishes between capital letters and lowercase letters, and then they have special ones for digits and signs. So that actually makes it a pretty complicated one if you see, because you can't use just plain substitution and just say, okay, these are 26 letters, because these letters might actually be a lot more because of the lowercase and the numbers as well. So yeah, same as I described. If you click on these, then you will see the letters appear below. And so the numbers, and the same with signs, they all appear. You can of course also use it to make a puzzle. So if I type in hello world, you see it pop up here, and you see that the space is actually represented by something as well. So with these type of ciphers, if I would see something that was more than 26 different symbols, like codes, then often I will see is the space encoded, because that will throw off any type of decoder that you may use if you don't know. But of course, with sites like this, you might be able to actually find the correct alphabet and actually use that one. So let's take a look at a few more. So here is another one. Fibrinish, I think it's pronounced. This is actually from Star Trek. So, and again, in this case, only capitals and letters, capitals and numbers and then space has a special encoding here. But again, very recognizable. If you see this, then you could recognize it right away that this is this one. Some other ones, gift icons. Again, this one has a uppercase and lowercase. And here the colors, the numbers are actually different colors that being utilized. One more is horses and so on. Now, I mentioned there's a couple of special ones, so I want to show you some examples like that as well. One of them, for example, is the geocaching attributes. I have a special video on attributes, but each attribute has a unique number. And so I can go in here and I see that 43, 44, 45, or the same way the other way around. If I, for example, want to do a coordinate and I know these, then I have typically in sets of 2, and you will see the icons pop up here. So you can also use it as a coordinate, download it, or just simply reset and start over and say, no, it is 34, 12, whatever the sequence is, and now create it as that. Finally, one more. This is actually how I first started using the website, was actually because I had a pretty convenient country and flag table, where if I saw flags represented, then I immediately had a bunch of information. And I like sites like this. So I can look for a specific country. If I recognize the flag, I can browse through all the flags, but then immediately get, oh, am I looking at the capital that is important? Am I look at the telephone code that is important? Am I look at their currency that is important? So there was a series of things that I could look at that would make it convenient to see if that matched the numbers or maybe the letter or something else that I needed to solve the puzzle. So this is a very good, unique table that you can use to solve puzzles. So yeah, overall, definitely a site that you should bookmark, as especially for the code tables, it's a long, extensive list. Sometimes you can just do through substitution, crack them, but it's often easier if you actually know what every character stands for, especially with those that have lowercase and uppercase letters. That was the end of this video, just a short one showing you a new website, a new resource to use in solving caches, maybe creating caches. If you haven't done so, please subscribe. That will always help. And also, please like the video if you appreciated and learned something today. That way I know it was useful. With that, if you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, feel free to contact me on the WhatEvent5 on the geocaching.com website. Just send me a quick message. That's the easiest. Or you can also reach me by Gmail if you have specific things like attachments or something you want to take me to look at. Again, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it and looking forward to speaking to you the next time.